Thank you, Jacqueline. Feeling all hyped up now? Are you guys feeling hyped up? Yes?
Yeah.
Now, football is one of the most popular sports on earth. From old, young people, even kids love to watch and play this game. No exception here in Indonesia. And to talk more about Football Academy for Children, we have this dynamic duo, Akash Nathani and Marco Gracia Paulo from Super Skills Jakarta. Super Skills Soccer Jakarta,
yeah,
basically.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good, we're fine.
Any hyped up? Did you do your warming up exercise, like kicking some ball or something?
Oh no, we were dancing for.
You were dancing to
DJ Jacqueline's music.
Song,
yeah.
right? Hey, I love your song. Okay, now tell us a bit about this Super Skills Soccer.
Yeah, so Super Skills is the first football school that teaches expert ball mastery, where the game is 1 versus 1.
Right.
So in a typical session, kids don't have any passing. So it's one kid and one ball, so they have that relationship with the ball, is to build that foundation of ball mastery.
Right.
So when these kids play futsal or they play soccer for their school, they're already technically gifted, where we try to replicate that number 10, like Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, that are our poster boys, that sort of a player.
All right. So it's different from any other football team that usually has football
That's right.
clubs that actually have
the traditional
how many people
kind.
together traditionally?
Like for futsal or
for football?
You mean like 11 on 11?
Oh, 11 on 11.
Yeah,
that's right.
so that's for football. For futsal, it's 5 on 5. So Super Skills is 1v1. So these kids need to be well equipped to beat his man. So he has nobody to help. He's extremely exposed. So he needs to have his own ideas, his own technical ability to go past the man and score a goal.
All right. How did you come up with this? What inspired you to actually make this team or club?
Because especially for me, while growing up, I always played this game of 1v1 with all my teammates. That a lot of us, we were dubbed as the golden generation back in Singapore, and many of us turned professional players. Some of my friends are even in the national team right now. But it was down to that type of total football where we wanted to create action with the ball instead of always just passing the ball and thinking that after passing the ball the job is done.
Right. So is it only for children?
This particular sport of 1 versus 1 is for everybody, boys, girls, amateur all the way up to professional level. So everybody uses this kind of program where different 1v1 situations to build again the technical and dribbling skills of their players.
And how long have you been with the Super Skills? You're basically in he's the coach.
Yeah,
and you are...
so he's handling all the technical stuff and I handle the business.
And how is it with Super Skill in terms of the response from people in Jakarta or Indonesia? Do you have both?
We are focusing mainly in Jakarta now, but we're gonna really take all the national part. But the response is really good because we also do extracurricular program for the schools.
All right.
And the response is really positive because what we do here, like just Akash mentioned, we are not focusing on the skills only, but we're focusing also on the character.
All right.
So the character building is very important. That's why when you ask, is it only for children? No, but it will help children a lot to also build up the character.
And do they have to start from a really young age to be able to,
it is always best to start at a young age because you're still able to mold that person when it comes to football, language, whatever your education purpose of a child is obviously easiest when they're really young.
And how old is young though? 2? When they just started walking?
3 and a half.
Yeah.
3 and a half.
We get 3.5, 4. But again, for kids to understand the concept of 1 versus 1, he would have to be slightly older. So the youngest we've had to play competitively 1 versus 1 is at the age of 5.5, and he is a rare breed, and today he is on his way to Barcelona, Spain to play for Marcet Academy.
And how old is he now?
He's 8 today.
He's 8?
He just turned 8 a couple of months ago, and he's 3 weeks away from a scholarship there.
Wow.
So
But I'm curious though, when you are at such a young age, sometimes you don't even know what you want to do or what you like to do. So is it normally parents who actually push them or, insist that they join a club, or is it by themselves that they have a passion for football?
It is a gamble for sure for the parents to take to invest in their child, but it's something that they want their child to be happy also. So if your kid is good, he has the talent, why not? Again, I believe, like what Marco was saying, character building. Again, you move to a new place, a new city, you learn new things. So whether he turns into a professional footballer or not, there are other life skills that you learn just from this experience alone. So I don't think anything's wasted.
Life experience or character building. Can you tell me the correlation between football and character building? When you learn character building, we think about presentations in school, or right now in international schools, doing what do you call that? Problem solving, things like that. But when it comes to football, how do you correlate?
That's why actually. When I say character building, it's not all the theoretical things that you learn in schools, presentations and everything, but actually it's a life experience. It helps you to build why we go to school, because we want to build other than the knowledge that we get, but we also need to build our character, because there are rules there. So it's all about football actually. So football is actually the liquid. It's very liquid that you can use it to do anything actually, and to learn anything. So basically, we're not, like Akash mentioned, no matter your child's gonna be professional or not, but it's not about building professional players. We have other levels for that. But this is about teaching your kids about life, about real life, through football. So that's the decision that the parents has to make, right?
Now you also mentioned that if the kids have talent, then why not, right? But how do you know if a child has the talent to play football or not? Is it by the way they kick?
Of course.
I wouldn't know, because even I'm a lady, right?
Of course, it's definitely very evident on the playing surface. You compare. Well, I don't really like to compare players, but you can see that every game, the consistency of him performing very well is pretty evident. And then his obsession, I don't even say passion anymore, but his obsession to want to always be with the ball throughout the day is present. And because of such habits, it reflects again on the playing surface, and you know that is what he wants to be when he grows up. Every time you ask a player, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a footballer, and it shows off the court too that his habits, if continued this way, it would be good for him.
He'll have a career out of football as well.
To be exactly, to have a career in it.
Now, what are the physical requirements though, if you want to be a football player or you want to join a football club?
I don't think physical requirements are important because. Again, you have Diego Maradona as the smallest player on the pitch, but he was the best in the world. You have Messi, who had physical problems growing up, where he had to be injected with steroids in Barcelona just to grow, and he's the world's best. So again, it's what you can do with the ball, really.
So anybody can actually play football, right?
Anybody.
Exactly.
Like for basketball, you have to be, of a certain height in order to be able to, maybe shoot the ball or something like that. But in football, is agility important though? Do you have to be fast? Do you have to be
agility is the most important thing.
Right?
And that is
sports.
Super skills is what we focus on, agility.
All right.
Extreme quick feet. That's what we focus on.
Now, what are the fees, perhaps, if you have parents who want to join? Do you have to pay, or is it?
So the registration cost is 1 million rupiah. So this includes the administration, the jersey set, and your membership to play in our 1v1 tournaments that are held twice a year. So every 6 months, all the dojos, so all the centers of super skills get together, and we rally off 1 versus 1 according to your age group. So this is only valid for all members. And then the monthly fee, like for us in North Jakarta, is 700,000 rupiah a month, and
in South is 800.
800,000.
Okay, now right now we're going to go for a break, but when we come back, we're going to continue talking about super skills and just football in Indonesia. We'll be right back.
Normally, lakes have fresh water, but Lake Labuan in Barao, East Kalimantan is rather different. On the surface, the lake water is fresh, but just a few meters underneath, the water is salty. The salt water seeps from the sea tide not far from the lake. A thin layer of border lies between the salt and fresh water. The two kinds of water in the lake gather life from both worlds, freshwater fish on top and saltwater fish on the bottom of the lake. Banging heads against each other has got to hurt, but in Bima, West Nusa Tenggara, a unique tradition does just that. It's called Entubu. This tradition is only performed by certain people in the Wawo district. These people either have had spells of strength conjured into them, or they are descendants of warriors from the Bima Sultanate. Around 4 to 6 people will hit their heads against each other alongside traditional Bima music and songs. The Entubu ritual, however, is performed a lot less than it used to.
Welcome back. You're still with me and my guests, Akash and Marco. Right, Marco?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now we're going to continue again. Now, a number of football schools in Indonesia are growing right now. Okay. What's a good school, a good football school, and what can it offer?
Well, this is the thing. In Indonesia, because I was in the organization before, we don't really have it yet. I mean, the standard. So what makes a good soccer school or soccer institution is the program, for sure. Like a restaurant, so the recipe of the food
the program
that you serve, right? So what kind of recipe that you make to serve to your clients, you know, to the kids, that makes a good program.
All right. So
I believe that's the fundamental.
So what do you guys offer then for this football club?
So
super skills.
Yeah, so what again, like what I was saying, it's about ball mastery and agility. That our session is planned based on these two criteria.
Okay.
So what's unique about this program is it's a progressive belt system, so it's just like martial arts where you have white belt all the way up to black belt. So these kids, when they come, different belts have different criteria to fulfill, and so different movements with the ball, where we call it kata, where it's a Japanese word for just like taekwondo, and yeah, so that's why our centers are called dojos too. So different belts have different katas to perform according obviously to their skill level, which is the color of their belt.
All right.
So a yellow belt would be doing something different than a white belt, and an orange belt would be doing something different too.
All right.
But the core session is every kid is with a ball. It's never risked passing. It's never released to anybody. The only time that you risk losing the ball is during the game of 1 versus 1. But apart from that, the entire session of at least 100 minutes is complete ball mastery and agility, with and without the ball.
That's interesting, though. How did you come up with those Japanese terms like taekwondo? I mean, it is a football, something wrong.
Yeah. Our founder actually
one of the first to actually have that sort of term. It's out of the norm and out of the box, right? And how did that come up with?
Yeah, our founders
Was
actually.
he a fan of taekwondo or martial
So
arts?
our founder Dale Mulholland, he's an American who used to live in Indonesia and now back in the States. He used to do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
All right.
and he was always intrigued by how players were, fighters, or you call them martial artists. They were very dedicated, respectful to their teachers, and he wanted that same kind of concept in football.
So is there
So-
a correlation though between
Oh no,
football and
just progressive belt system.
Okay, just
That's
the belt
about it.
system. Okay.
Yeah,
What are the important assets of a young football player?
obsession.
Like, obsession.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obsession.
Yeah.
You have
It's-
to be obsessed with football.
Oh, of course. I think in anything in the world that you want to do, you have to be obsessed day in, day out. There's no day off.
So passion, yeah.
Yeah, it's more than passion. Even when you're sleeping, you're dreaming about it. Dreaming playing in front of 1,000 or 100,000 fans, scoring a goal. It's what makes you happy, and that is the most crucial element for me, especially for kids of that age.
What age though? Kids of what age? In what age do they start having a passion and obsession for football?
I had it when I was 6.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Some
really young.
some might have since they're born.
Yeah.
Since they're born.
Yeah. You can feel it.
How do you tell though? They're always hogging onto the ball. They're always
I slept with the ball.
You slept with the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
All right, my son sleeps with his toy cars. If
Yeah.
you're obsessed with cars, I'm starting
Could
to
be.
Yeah,
wonder.
maybe he's the next F1 for
The
Indonesia.
next F1, amen to
Yeah.
that. Now, can you name us some of the Indonesian young? We have a lot of Indonesian young
Yeah.
talents who are good in football.
Yeah.
Can you perhaps name to us? Give us some names.
Yeah, on top of my head right now would be Tristan Alis. He's I think one of the yes,
His son.
yeah,
Tristan
but
Ali, yeah.
but after playing even at under 21 level in Indonesia many years ago, we played against teams outside Jakarta in places that I've never even heard of. The talent in these kind of where you call it the kampung
All right.
is phenomenal. Like the talent in Indonesia is fantastic. It's just that we never had people to manage it right, people to bring to have like, for instance, football schools or football organizations there to help nurture this young talent
Yeah.
again as a feeder clubs to bring in for the national team, and we are still a long way apart, sadly. But in terms of talent, we could be one of the best in Asia right now.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe we have a lot of talents, but we just haven't found them yet. And why? Because we haven't set up the standard,
All right.
to have that. That's why we wanna have with our small portion that we can do, but we want to do it all the way.
All right. So would you consider that Indonesian football scene is actually pretty underdeveloped, or would you say
yes.
it's developed, or is it still catching up?
It's always playing catching up
Yeah.
with everybody, but
It's a matter of how long you've left behind, right?
yeah.
All right. Is the government doing anything right now to support the football?
I believe so, but I believe also we need to sit down, all the stakeholders, and they really need to hear from us, for instance. Of maybe lots of people want to do things, right? But too many hands won't be so good also.
Yeah.
So they need to make up their minds and okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it, fully committed, and everybody has to support this,
No.
and we will.
Now we're gonna get to a bit serious question. How's Indonesian football, like the condition amid all the scandal and the PSSI thing, and what's the future of football like here in Indonesia for the younger generation, of course?
I think the younger generation are all getting hurt right now.
Yeah.
With no professional league running at the moment, obviously the funds are less. If at the top the funds are less, it doesn't again go all the way down, and this will hurt all the youth academies. And again, players growing up, parents would want to watch out for their kids. That the traditional mindset where you should not be a football player, you should do something, go to school, get a degree, work for a major organization. So you are actually taking out a lot of the potential and what could be away from what could
passion, their heart,
what could have
their
been.
love. Yeah, what
Yeah.
could have been. Yeah. Now, what about Indonesia's football position in the region or in Asian Football League? There's such thing, Asian Football League. There is, right?
Yeah, there is.
Where is Indonesia placed right now?
We're not really good
Okay.
right now, but I believe if we start, because I believe we had a congress for the PSSI back, I think last 2 weeks, and we're gonna have the election of the president for our PSSI on October 17, if I'm not mistaken. So it's hopeful, but again, we really need to take action. Otherwise, we will be left behind. It's not about we're dropping. Maybe we're growing, but it's
not as
enough.
big as everybody
It's
else.
not- yeah, like
Again,
Vietnam, Philippines, you know.
Because these like countries like Thailand, Vietnam, even Singapore, who have problems with their league, but they have a league and they're playing week in and week out, and it's important for the players to be playing at the highest league in their country, so that when they actually have the national team traveling for all these major tournaments, that the players are always consistently playing at that level.
Yeah.
And it's a problem for Indonesia right now, because we don't have that.
Yeah.
And even to have whatever tournaments that's running, and you don't really have a proper pool of players to again have your best 11 to represent the country.
So what's the future like then of football in Indonesia right now?
It's hopeful.
Yeah.
It's hopeful.
It is hopeful, but very difficult to predict. Again, it all depends on the outcome of the elections, and again, after the elections, what are the programs
the
that will be
actions.
put for everybody. So everything all depends in the next couple of months.
Well, guys, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Future of football.
We need
Luck
that.
to the younger generations. I'm pretty sure football, we will be, on par with all our neighboring countries, and probably, be the best.
Hopefully.
Yeah?
Hopefully.
Just as long as you
Amen to
nurture all the younger generations,
Yeah.
and maintain what you have right now. Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us today on Daybreak. Now,
you.
coming up from the field, we go to the beach to join kids in Sumbawa, West Nusa Tenggara, who enjoy riding the waves. We'll check out the trend in Sumbawa.
Oh, really?